Okay, welcome again, brothers and sisters, to another class at the university where everyone will earn a PhD in racism, white supremacy, where there is no big I's and little U's, where there is no priest class. Everyone is a student and a professor. Does this need to be still plugged up? Because it's foolish, y'all. Where everyone is a professor and a student. We're going to move right along because we know that some of you may have family over, celebrate the 4th of, or they say you lie, not July, you lie. It's a play on the fact that Black people did not have independence when this day was created. Frederick Douglass on the following day spoke out against it very strongly. We're going to wait and see what Bumby and Trader Truth is going to say. Frederick Douglass spoke out against it when he was offered to speak at the 4th of July celebration in 1850 and spoke strongly against it. You can look up his speech. We're going to see is Bumby and Trader Truth is as strong as Frederick Douglass was in the 1850s. It's 2020. Nevertheless, here we are again discussing racism, white supremacy. The topic will be today is white supremacy and self-respect. We often start off by giving you the definition from the university, but the original definition came from the man himself, Mr. Neely Fuller. And we often study, we have 3 textbooks in the form of humans. And the 3 textbooks are Mr. Neely Fuller. We study their writings and we study their lectures. The 3 textbooks are Mr. Neely Fuller, Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, and Imam W.D. Muhammad. So don't hold your breath. Junior says about Trader Truth. Maybe there was some connection from the march and then being placed in prime time on the stage, I guess. Well, we'll find out. But nevertheless, our 3 textbooks is Mr. Neely Fuller, Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, and Imam W.D. Muhammad. As we know that we see people saying now racism is systematic. Racism, white supremacy is systematic. Well, that language came from Mr. Neely Fuller. He wasn't a PhD. I don't even think he ever had a degree. He's still living. He's not given any recognition whatsoever among us, let alone other social groups. He was the first one to describe racism, white supremacy as a system of Black man. The first one to do it, and he did it in 1953. It's 2020. CNN, Black and white politicians, ministers, common people, Black and white common people are just started saying racism is a system. Here, Mr. Neely Fuller started saying it and writing about it in 1953. So this is why he's one of the textbooks, because he is the original. I'm trying to see. Most definitely. we're always going to speak the truth as we see it, Mr. Neely Fuller. And Dr. Francis Cress Welsing met him later. I actually helped him put together his manuscript into a book form when they used to meet in Washington, D.C. Randomly. They had a Black Power conference going on. It was going on all over the country where Black people used to get together and see could they come up with any solutions, so-called solutions. And she said Mr. Neely Fuller was walking around with a manuscripts with an S on the end in his briefcase, like a suitcase, like. So he did this years before he met her, at least 10 years before he met her. So she helped him put together the book. You can look Mr. Neely Fuller books up on, just look him up, start with YouTube. And you can give him a call and order those books. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing and Dr. Carl Hutchison. Dr. Carl Hutchison was a surgeon, I believe. And of course, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing is a psychiatrist, or was a psychiatrist. So here is the definition as we expanded upon it of Mr. Neely Fuller's original. The original, like I said, came from Mr. Neely Fuller. We want to keep repeating this because I can see immediately he has been written out of history. It's like he doesn't exist. Mr. Neely Fuller is still alive. Nobody interviews him, not other than I think the Cow Show is on the internet. I think, well, I know they used to interview him, but he's older now. So I don't know how many interviews he's doing now, but people can mention him. I know people that come on Facebook Live and various social media platforms, and they never even mention Mr. Neely Fuller. And if they do, it's in passing, or that they have group discussions and they don't even, and most of us haven't even heard of him. But he is the one to define, the first one in the world to define racism, white supremacy as a system. So here's our definition, and in the definition, we're going to tell you exactly what racism, white supremacy is, how it moves, it works, and we're also going to tell you steps towards freedom. Some people call them solutions. Mr. Neely Fuller said they were counteractions to the system of racism, white supremacy. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing said that they were exercises in Black mental health. Imam W.D. Muhammad. See, it is important for us. You see me calling these names? Because these people get no recognition. Most of us, the names that I just mentioned, most people haven't even heard of these soldiers. And their work is just as important as Albert Einstein worked on E equals MC squared, if not more important. Imam W.D. Muhammad said these are good common sense steps, in other words. So here's the definition as it is given and understood by the university. Racism, white supremacy is a worldwide system of domination for the genetic survival of those people that are classified as white. It has patterns of control in speech, thought, system formation, action, and emotional response, carried out in 10 areas of human activity: education, entertainment, economics, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war, and health, for the ultimate goal of preserving the for the ultimate goal of preserving the genetic material of those people that classify themselves as white. That is the definition of racism, white supremacy. It's not white privilege. White privilege sounds like cotton candy. It's a way to lessen the sting of racism, white supremacy. Soon we won't even be saying that. We'll just be saying white privilege, and then then the system will start dropping. Everybody has privileges, so it won't be looked at as seriously. Well, racism, white supremacy is terrorism. Absolutely. And we should call it exactly what it is. Do not use or engage in a conversation when someone's saying white privilege. Because ask them to define that and what is its ultimate goal? What is the ultimate goal of white privilege? I gave you the goals of racism, white supremacy, for the genetic survival of those people that are classified as white. And the way they're going to survive genetically is eliminating the darker skinned people from the planet. That's the goal. Now, what is the goal of white privilege? Give it to us in a paragraph and tell us how it works and moves. You cannot. So we advise Black people to not to use this language because the language is confusing. Just stick to racism, white supremacy. Now, let me say this. I'll tell you some steps towards freedom in a moment, like we always do. But the topic for today is white supremacy and self-respect. What somebody asked me, I think I was in a store, heard my voice, and of course they seen me, and they asked me, what do I mean by white supremacy? Or what does that mean? Well, and I think they try to engage into some type of conversation saying that white people are not superior to them. Well, that ain't what we saying. And I heard one woman say, I think on a talk show a while back, that every time she think of Supreme, she think of God. And various things like that. But white supremacy simply means this: one who has the ability to kill another one with impunity. And the only ones that have the ability to do that is white people. Breonna Taylor, Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin. Just keep going. The list goes on and on. Byron Gillum, Lee Delaney. No Black person can slaughter white people with impunity. Oh, I should say no non-white person can repeatedly go around slaughtering Black or non-white people with impunity. So that's what supremacy means, white supremacy. One who has the ability to kill another one with absolute impunity. That's exactly what it means. Very, very simple. I think Dr. Welsing wrote about that, and Mr. Nellie Fuller. And we see it every day. We see it every day, and it may have happened a year ago, and just coming out with it on video today. Pamela Turner in Baytown, yeah. You see what Junior wrote. And we can sit here and write, and we'll still be sitting till next Saturday. and the Saturday after that. Did y'all see what happened to the young brother, Elijah McClain? 140 pounds, probably soaking wet with bricks in his pocket. He was 140 pounds. He was lynched. I didn't see no rope. Lynching means when a group of people declare themselves as policemen, judge, jury, and executioner. That's lynching. When a group of people declare themselves as policemen, or you can say law enforcement officers, judge, jury, and executioner, that's from the university. That's a lynching. And that's what we've been seeing, excuse me. And it has an effect on us. When Black people see every other day on TV, white supremacy, racism, white supremacy, they are witnessing lynchings or near lynchings. Someone who's trying to get someone lynched. And we see this on a repeated basis, and it doesn't matter how old the person is or how young they are. Just the other day, I'm not sure the location, but it happened right here in Texas. I think 2 or 3 days ago. 2 15-year-olds were just walking from the store, convenience store. 2 or 3 people that classify themselves as white jumped out of the truck with AK-47s and start chasing them. At some point, the youngsters had to stop and defend themselves. You probably can pull it up on Facebook. I think it's on my page. They stopped and started defending themselves. The policemen arrived, and the people that classify themselves as white, of course, did not go to jail. Supremacy only means those who have the ability to kill another one with absolute impunity. They could have killed them. They attempted to. Till the youngsters turned around, stopped running, and defended themselves. Knocked one person that classified himself as white, knocked him out, and the other ones retreated. As I said, the policemen came, and they said they had too many conflicting stories from both parties, so no one got arrested. Yeah, no one. They didn't arrest the white guy. Now, can you imagine myself, Junior, Brother Hassan, chasing 2 white boys who 15 years old down the street, down Cullen in Houston, just chasing them down the street, down a major thoroughfare, and an AK-47 in our hand? What do y'all think would have happened to us? We jumped out the truck, pursuing them to kill them. What do you think would have happened to us? Well, that is why we say racism, white supremacy. One who has the ability to kill another one with impunity. Now, we want you to take, if we would have made it to jail. Junior said we would have been under the jail. Yeah, if we would have made it to the jail. I don't think we would have made it to the jail. What do you think would have happened to us, Dylan Roof, Most of us don't even know who that is. We forgot. But we look at Jordan rules on the TV, talking about how mean he was to his fellow teammates and using the excuse that he wanted to be a champion. But we'll remember that, but we forgot about Dylan Roof. Well, Dylan Roof is the person that classified themselves as white, the terrorists that went into a church in South Carolina and slaughtered nine. And he was caught and drove to the Burger King or whatever fast food place. Now, if Junior, on here's Lester, we call him Junior, if Junior, Khalil, or myself would have went to Second Baptist and slaughtered over here at what's that church where the Summit used to be? That guy's church. Or I should say Second Baptist, because too many black people go to the church where the Summit is or used to be. So we'll just say Second Baptist. If we would have went in there on a Wednesday night and slaughtered 9 white people, or those people that classify themselves as white, what do y'all think would have happened to us? If we would have went in, sat by Ed, whatever his name is, shot him, and slaughtered 9 others, or 8 others. So we shot 12. 9 died. What do you think would have happened to us? Write it on the screen. What do you think would have happened to us if either one of us or one of you would have went into Second Baptist Church, or Baptist Church, and slaughtered 9 and shot 12 but slaughtered 9? Yeah. Y'all see what Junior said? Yeah, Ed Young over there at Second Baptist. I don't think we would have made it to the police station. We wouldn't have made it to the police station. White supremacy only means one who has the ability to kill another one with impunity. All of those things I said before that was examples to prove the point. No black person gonna do that. He don't have the ability to do that. And if he does that, he will not leave the parking lot. Not alive. He don't have no ability to do that. Dylan Roof is still living. Self-respect. Self-respect. I want y'all to take a mental flight with me for a second and imagine a building. And this building, massive building, is held up by 2 poles. Junior said we would have been Swiss cheese. Yeah. If you don't know, Swiss cheese, the one that have all those holes in it. And the massive building is held up by two poles. One of these poles, we can say it is example of establishing and maintaining racism, white supremacy. That's one pole. We got two poles. The first pole represents establishing and maintaining the system of racism, white supremacy. The second pole is putting the system into practice. And the way that is done is by totally destroying the self-respect level of non-white people, particularly Black people, but all non-white people, but particularly Clyde Brown, but particularly Black people. Now, we must say that the system of racism, white supremacy has achieved that goal. They constructed two poles. One pole was to establish the system. The second pole was to put the system in practice. And we must say that the system is in practice. Our self-respect level has been almost totally destroyed. And the system is counting on us to keep it that way, or to help the system keep it that way. That's how the system survives, by destroying the self-respect level of all non-white people. What particularly are you talking about, Brother Muhammad? Causing non-white people to engage in physical combat with each other. Here's some examples. See, this is no guesswork. The system is no guesswork, and countermeasures to the system is no guesswork. Here's some examples. Most of you have read about the war in Vietnam. It's a brother on here who served during that era. Well, if you look at a North Vietnamese and a South Vietnamese, you couldn't tell the difference. They are non-white, but they engaged into armed struggle with each other. As a result of that, different groups was able to come in. The French, for one, and the United States. Both of those countries practice racism, white supremacy. Well, they caused them to fight each other. One group called themselves a communist. And the other group said they was a democratic elected form of government. And they felt the need to fight each other. This is done by the system of racism, white supremacy. And most of us, African Americans, because we don't do much study, we almost think Chinese and Vietnamese are the same people. We'll call them that. I've heard people call them that. See a Vietnamese person walk, hey, that's a China, they'll use slang. That's a Chinaman. That's just a Chinaman. That's what we'll say. And them people just got through calling us nigger yesterday. Well, the Vietnamese fought the Chinese for 1,000 years. The way racism, white supremacy, one of the ways racism, white supremacy continues is to cause non-white people to fight each other, thus destroying the self-respect level. Just totally destroying the self-respect level. We have the brother in Killeen, where we don't know the whole story. He's not here. They said he suicided himself. I don't know. But I know that that Mexican-American young lady is no longer here, body chopped up and placed in various parts of Killeen. It said he did it, causing us to fight each other. So therefore, our self-respect level will go down. Anything, we might do anything once the self-respect level goes. Once the self-respect level goes in terms of human life, no other form of human life matters in our group. Once the self-respect level goes, yeah, again, that's her name, Soldier Again. Once the self-respect level goes, human life itself has no value in our group. So we can stand on a corner or stand underneath the tree and sell dope and crack to each other. Or get on Facebook and show people how many different liquors we got in our cabinet. And a big old long cigar that stretches 12 inches long. Because our self-respect level has been destroyed. So we wide open for anything. We may go with almost anything. We may say almost anything to each other, to our cousins, to our aunties, to our uncles, because of the self-respect level has been totally destroyed. Now, we should not look to those people that classify themselves as white to help us. Like when they had the march for Brother Floyd, they had X number of people saying, we all in this together. We need white people, so forth and so on. Of course, you don't even hear Brother Floyd's name anymore. And by next week, it's a wrap. Who in the world is Floyd? You hear little rumbling, but it's getting fainter and fainter. By next week, you ain't gonna hear it. Where are all those people that was marching in the street? Why aren't they on Facebook saying that we need justice in the system? Although you can't get justice in the system. But you don't even hear them anymore. Bum B is going to take the stage tonight. Him and Trader Truth. And it really is really an embarrassment that the brothers and sisters at the university are the only one that question it. It really is an embarrassment. Say, well, Bum B and Trader Truth just led a protest march against injustice, unfairness, all of this is under racism, white supremacy. But I'm just saying this is what they would say. Injustice, unfairness, racism, white supremacy, as if racism, white supremacy is separate from what I just said. Police brutality, all of this is under racism, white supremacy. But this is what the march, and said it was a peaceful march. And before we know it, they was invited to take the stage tonight to promote the fairness and justice in this city. Now, just the other day, they was leading a march, one of the largest that ever happened in Houston, if not the largest. That's what they say. But I've been on marches under the leadership of Deloyd Parker, Judon Boney, Ada Edwards. So I beg to differ, but nevertheless, supposed to have been the largest. And then it seemed like in a twinkling of an eye, they ain't saying no more. They finna take the stage, man. Under the banner of Houston, celebrating its fairness and justice. Am I the only one see a problem with this? Now I know I'm not the brightest bulb in the room, but I shouldn't be, the university shouldn't be the only one. It's an embarrassment. Yeah, go and let them march for a while, give them a permit, tell them that they are the largest, tell them to push nonviolence, and have the police chief to come out and shake their hand, and they kiss and hug him, and he kiss and hug them back, and he'll say how much I love you, and then 2-3 weeks later, we will reward the black entertainers with some money. Because they ain't doing that for free. They ain't doing that for free. They ain't finna perform no concert for free. So how did they go from leading a march against unfairness, police brutality, to getting on the stage as an elite group celebrating the fairness and justice in Houston, Texas, and just led a march against that in Houston, Texas? And the more we do that, and the more we don't speak out against that, the more confusion, the more the erosion of our self-respect level. And the closer and closer we get to being genocided. It's the same thing as this. I post this also. I think this was in Connecticut. 2 lawyers, black lawyer, husband and wife. They built some type of deck in their backyard. They are lawyers. Some type of shell deck, out of shells rather. And they built it in their backyard. They say their neighbor has been harassing them since they moved in with different complaints. But she was saying the complaints from her yard, they'll just blow them off. She'll look over the fence and complain about the lights that the 2 black couples put out there. Now, they're highly educated. They got a PhD in jurisprudence. That's a law degree. But they give you PhD in law. So they just kept blowing it off. The white lady just took it farther. She went in their yard and just a citizen, and demand to see a permit for building that debt. Well, in that area, they didn't need a permit. They had already researched it. They being the two black lawyers who were married, male and female. They didn't need it. But the white woman insisted that they need it. And when they didn't produce it, she called the police. Not to say that they're billing a debt without permission. She said, they are physically attacking me. She called the police. Nevertheless, some other neighbors was outside, and when the police arrived, the other white neighbors were able to calm the police down. Lucky them white people were out there, other white people, because it would have been a what? A lynching. What is a lynching? When someone assumes the position of law enforcement, judge, jury, and executioner, that's a lynching. That's what that lady was calling for when she called the police. That's what happened to Brother Floyd. A lynching. You don't have to be hanging from a tree. So nevertheless, the white people were able to save the black couple's life for doing absolutely nothing that was illegal. And you know what the black people said? Oh, we forgave them already. After she called the police, we told her we forgave her. See, when you do that, we're going to love you anyway. That type of foolishness. When you do that, you are only saying, please come back and do it to us again. Or someone that looks like us. And they just simply do. Every time we say that, when that family forgave Amber Geiger, who came in there and slaughtered their son, and the people, see, this is self-respect. And his mother and father and his brother, I know his mother and father, I'm not sure about, excuse me, I know the brother and father said that they forgave Amber Geiger and they just want to have lunch with her. And the brother cried so much, he just wanted to get off the stands and hug her. And the judge gave her a Bible. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to have meant. They got Bibles in the county jail. And the bailiff started combing Amber Geiger's hair. She is the one that shot Bolton John in Dallas. But the family and some other black people around the country seems to think that that is the only way God will be pleased with us, if we forgive people who slaughter us. And it only means, under the system of racism, white supremacy, please come back and do it to us again. And those who look like us. Every time we do it. So the couple that were lawyers, that's their position. Oh, we forget, and they kept saying it. Just put it up on my Facebook. My Facebook page. I think it's on there. They were saying we already forgave her for that. The 9 people, the family representatives that were slaughtered in South Carolina. All 9 of the families said they forgave Dylan Roof. He said, I didn't ask y'all to forgive me. They say they're going to pray for him anyway, not to go to hell. I would have been praying that he go to hell tonight while he's alive and wake up and then go to hell again. And whenever he dies, go to hell again. Go to hell on this side of life and the next. At some point, we have to have self-respect, because if we don't, we're putting our families at risk. I know it sounds good and nice, and I'm not going to say Christian-like. I just refuse, because I think that's a bad light on Christians. I think it's a misunderstanding of a religion. Because I know racism, white supremacy operates in the field of religion also. And I think it's just a misunderstanding of that religion. That they think that they're supposed to forgive people that do that to them. And it simply means come back and do it again, Dylan Roof. And not necessarily Dylan Roof. Just another person like Dylan Roof. Another mind. Oh, black people, they ain't gonna feel nothing, no way. They don't feel pain like us. So they'll get over it. Next week, they'll be dancing. So let me go on this church and kill 9. Ain't no big deal. The judge will come down there and give me a kiss in the Bible. I'm only gonna spend like 2-3 years in prison. I have money when I come out. I'm white. I have more money than Bolton John's family. I'm white. It's insane, to put it mildly. And it destroys the self-respect level. But there is hope. I know after I said that, it seemed like there is no hope. But if we have no hope, I shouldn't use the word hope, but there is a way to sit the ship aright. The second pillar, as we said, remember the second pillar, we're still talking about self-respect. Destroying the self-respect level of all non-white people. All non-white people. That's the system of racism, white supremacy. Imagine if you had a building, the first, and the 2 poles, the first pole will be establishing the system. The second pole is to carry out that system by destroying the self-respect level of all non-white people. But we must say, the system has done that. As a group, but particularly Black, because that is the most dangerous group as it relates to the system of racism, white supremacy. Because there is a code. I think I saw my Amy on here, and she may be one of the older ones on here. And the rest of you have heard it too. But I know it go beyond her age. If this is the code, and it is in various forms. If you Black, get back. If you brown, stick around. If you yellow, you mellow. If you white, you're all right. That is the genetic code that was given in a song. But that is the genetic code. And Black being the most dangerous, because it can do what? Destroy, the darker you are, it can destroy the genetic material of those people that classify themselves as white. This is science. We ain't talking about hating white people. We ain't talking about busting no white people in the head with a rock. We talking science here. We talking intellectual thought here at the university. And we giving it to you in clear language so you will be able to repeat it. We ain't talking about if I don't love them, then I'm going to go to hell. Big Bill Bailey, I think that's what Junior has on there. Look, just read what he has. That's the guy who sung the song. And in that song is the genetic code. That is the genetic code. See, they was playing this on a radio show. They just playing it. We didn't know why, but now we know why exactly. Because that is the genetic code. White, those people that classify themselves as white, they don't want their genetics to be destroyed, which would cause them to disappear from the planet. Serena Williams or Venus, I don't know which one is which, the younger one. I was looking at a little TV today, and she had whatever. She had on this suit, and I had her daughter on the same type of tennis outfit. The daughter daddy is white. One of the Williams sisters married a white guy, Venus or Serena, the younger one. And they had a baby. Look at that baby. Look at President Barack Obama. Those are examples right in front of your face why that genetic code has to be in play. Because the white will disappear. Now, let's just say that baby grows, which I hope that it grows up, and now she's her mother age, and she goes and marries someone as dark as me. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. It may come out and have a light, almost white looking baby. I doubt it, because that's not how genetics work. May come out to have blue eyes. I doubt it. Probably somewhere way, way, way down the line. That's how genetics work. And white people just don't want to disappear. So they destroy the self-respect level of black people or non-white people. Because this don't only applies to black people having physical relations with white people. Any non-white person can alter the genetic material of white people. Because the lighter you are, the weaker your genes is. The darker you are, the stronger the genes is. Recessive and dominant. That's what it is called. Recessive is the white gene. Dominant is the darker gene. So in order for racism, white supremacy, and we bringing it to a close, in order for racism, white supremacy to continue to flourish, white people must, black people, excuse me, help the system by continue to destroy the self-respect level. But we can gain control of that by totally raising the self-respect level. And if you do that, racism, white supremacy will fail. It will fail. Well, how are we going to raise the self-respect level? Mr. Neely Fuller wrote about it in 1954. And our parents and grandparents told us about it even before that. Even before that. And their parents. We just don't listen. We just either forgot about it or scared or don't know or crazier than hell and every damn thing else. But here are the ways to raise the self-respect level. Stop fighting each other. Same thing we tell you every week. Mr. Neely Fuller wrote about it in 1954. Stop fighting each other. Stop killing each other. Stop arguing with each other. Stop stealing from one another. Stop snitching on one another. Those are ways, those, the producer hit the music. So we come to a close. Those are, stop smoking. Stop using drugs. Stop making Black youngsters think that they can produce and maintain a family, because they cannot. Stop devaluing education. Do not get married until the man is 35 and the woman is 30. What are you going to do before that? You're going to be getting the most education that you could get. If you qualify to go to a university, you're going to get a PhD. Law, real estate, something. If you qualify to be and go to a trade school, you're going to become a master mechanic. I'm giving you steps towards freedom. These simple things will turn around racism, white supremacy overnight. Stop gambling. Well, this is your papa talking to you, Dice. You on your hands and knees. I've seen a group of people, youngsters, some years ago, on their grandmother's front porch, and the grandmother is known throughout Houston, especially in the Yates community, on their own grandmama's front porch, gambling. My auntie would say, don't say nothing to them no more. That's what she would tell me. Leave them people alone. But I couldn't help myself. I turned around my car and asked them, was they crazier than hell? On a noble woman's front porch like that, shooting dice. So thank you very much for listening, brothers and sisters. We're going to bring it to a close. And we want y'all to pray for Ivory Bob's family. Her husband went from labor to reward today. And we're asking all of you to say a little prayer for her. Say a prayer for your parents, because they did the best they could do. Have mercy on us always. Amen. We'll see you next week. Thank you very much. Hey, ain't chatted. Shalita, Lester, all of you. Thank you. Listen to that music.